everyone. So I had this super crazy dream. I saw Jesus crying in this dream and it was so sad, and the and I looked through the scriptures after this dream, and I did found some scriptures that actually supported what happened in the dream. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what if this is like a prophetic dream or something? So here's the dream, guys. Um, So it was a really dark place, and I was on top of this mountain, and there was a cave on this mountain, and I was standing there, and no one could see me. Like, I was there, nobody noticed that I was there. I was just watching, and there were men dressed in battle armor. I knew they were angels. Like, there was a voice behind me saying that these were angels, but they looked just like normal men except bigger, taller. But they looked like men. They weren't like all glowy and stuff. And they were standing there like in a line, holding their spears, getting ready for war. And then out of the cave entrance, right? It was just a dark cave entrance. Out of the cave entrance came walking this old man who was wearing all white, and he was holding a bowl in his hand. And then the voice around me said, "This is Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah." Guys, like in the book of Isaiah, this is the prophet Isaiah carrying this bowl. And I saw inside the bowl there was like red liquid. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is that? Is that wine? Is that blood? What is it? And then the voice behind me was like, it is wine. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what's going on here? So we were on top of a really tall mountain, okay, guys? And the sky was all dark. And there was like clouds. It was like dark clouds. It was like really gloomy atmosphere. And then the best part of the dream, okay? After Isaiah came out with the bowl, following behind him was, you guessed it, Jesus came out of that cave entrance, and he was glowing. Okay, he was like glowing. He was wearing white all the way to the bottom. The hem touched the ground, and he was wearing a red cloak, a red robe cloak. It was so red, and his clothes were so white, and I couldn't see the details of his face at all, which is like, oh man, if I could totally like draw a portrait or something, because I like to draw portraits, and I'm still amazed that no one in the New Testament ever drew a portrait of Jesus. I'd be like, man, if I was there, I would have been drawing so many pictures of what his face looked like. But unfortunately, guys, I did not see his face, but but I was there in his presence, right? And here's the crazy thing. Okay, nobody in the whole scene noticed that I was there. But Jesus made eye contact with me, and he knew that I was there. He was like looking at me like, until I would take this down. And I'm just like, So then I saw his face. Like, I didn't see the details of his face. I didn't see his eyes, his nose, or anything. But I knew, like, I was telling myself in the dream, wow, if compassion had a face, this would be it. If kindness had a face, this would be it. I was like, whoa, yes. And then, okay. And then Isaiah was holding the bowl, okay, and he offered the bowl to Jesus, all right? And then Jesus took the bowl, and then he drank from the bowl, and this is the worst part, guys. He spat it out. He took a sip, and it, like, it was the most horrible thing he ever tasted. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, this just went all bad. I was like, guys, this dream just went all bad now. And then I was like, oh no. And okay, two scriptures. Okay, listen to this, guys. Wait. Okay, before I go to the scriptures, let me go to the other part of the dream. So then we moved around the mountain to this cliff, right? The angels didn't move. Isaiah was still standing right there. But then I saw Jesus move to the edge of the cliff. And then I saw fire. Like the sky was not dark anymore. It was bright red. It was like there was fire somewhere. And so I followed him. You know, come on. Where Jesus goes, you gotta follow him. So then Jesus walked right there. And then I followed right after him, like, what's going on? And then I'm like, man, this is a nightmare. Okay, whoa. And there was this city that was on fire. It was like, you know those Pompeii videos? It was worse than that. I was like, I saw there was like a wall. There was this like chunk of a wall, right? And that was like on fire. And I was like, there's a wall on fire. There's a city on fire. And I'm just like, I was just thinking in my head, this is worse. This must be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, you know? I was like, okay. I'm gonna try to describe it in detail. There was a wall. I kind of knew it was the Wailing Wall because the Wailing Wall is like the most famous wall, okay? Like, that wall is, like, you'd recognize Israel and Jerusalem because of that wall. You know, I was like, whoa, man, that is Jerusalem? Oh my goodness. And I'm like, this turned out to be a really bad dream. And then I saw Jesus standing there, and he was crying. He was crying over, like, he was wailing over the city. And I'm like, oh man, okay, so, whoa. He was crying over the city, and like, how was I feeling when I saw Jesus crying? I was like, let's say, like, you had the happiest person ever, right? And all of a sudden they became the saddest person ever. And you've never saw them sad before. And you never even imagined in your head that this super happy person would ever be sad in their life. You ever had that feeling? You never had a classmate or a friend at work who's like always so happy and bubbly all the time, and you just never imagined in your head that they would be sad. And then one day you come to work or to school and you saw them crying and your heart just breaks because you're like, what is this? What could be so horrible that someone as beautiful and as happy and bubbly as you would be crying? What could have hurt you so bad? And so I just like get sad thinking about it. Like, guys, you don't just like wake up one morning after seeing Jesus cry and just like be totally okay with it. No way. And so he was standing there watching this city on fire, and I could feel like he had a great love for this city, like he had some great expectation for this city, but then it just didn't turn out that way. Like, let me describe the fire in that city, okay? There's the wall on fire, and I want to say it looked like a barbecue gone wrong, but no, it was like, okay. Have you guys ever seen, the Australia fire? You know, you saw those pictures on the news with the sky all red and then people driving on a little highway and walls of fire around them? Like, it was something like that. The fire was so hot. It was like, it's like hot. I know, this is so hard to describe. It was like fire times a million, okay? You think of fire, like think of a bonfire. Multiply that by a million and you got what this city was going through. It was like burning. It was burning. And I'm just like, what is this? Oh my goodness. All I could say, in that dream, I was just thinking in my head, okay, this is worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. I've never seen Sodom and Gomorrah on fire, but the description in the Bible, I was just thinking, this just gotta be worse. And I'm just thinking, this is worse than Pompeii, okay? This is worse than any fire I've seen. I live in California, folks. I see a lot of fire. I see fire in the news. I see fire in I see fire in person. Like, wildfires is a common thing nowadays. Really sad in California. And this was by far the worst fire I've ever seen. Ever. Ever. Worse than the movies. And I'm just like, whoa. Okay, now I'm done describing the fire. Jesus was there. He was sitting down, crying. And I'm just like, man. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm thinking, man, if only I could have a dream where Jesus was happy. Out of all the dreams I could have received, I received a dream where Jesus was crying, okay? I hear of people having dreams of visiting heaven and seeing Jesus smiling at the end of a long table and celebrating with folks. I mean, why can't I have dreams like that? Instead, so I had this dream and I knew it might be a prophetic dream because, okay, now we're going to go and fact check this, okay, guys? This is my fact check book. Okay, if you turn to Isaiah 5:7, it says here, the vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the nation of Israel. Okay, nation of Israel is the vineyard. What does vineyard produce? Grapes, okay? Grapes for what? For wine, okay. And it says, let me repeat it again. The vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the nation of Israel, and the people of Judah are the vines he delighted in. Here's the expectation. And he looked for justice, but saw bloodshed. For righteousness, but heard cries of distress. Okay, he had an expectation for this vineyard, and those expectations were not met. Okay, next verse. Okay, now we're going to the New Testament. This is Jesus talking here. Okay, guys. If you turn to Matthew 11:21, okay, it says here, woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted to the heavens? No, you will go down to Hades. For if the miracles that were performed in you had been performed in Sodom, it would have remained to this day. Here's the kicker, guys. Matthew 11:24. But I tell you that it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. Okay, he's talking about the towns here that, he's talking about towns where they will experience worse fire of judgment than Sodom and Gomorrah. It doesn't specifically say Jerusalem is going to experience that, but I don't know. I'm not super sure what city I saw, okay? It could have been Jerusalem. It could have been any city with some wall, but it was a city with a gigantic wall that was on fire. That's all I knew. I didn't see a flagpole. I didn't see, like, it could have been any city. Could have been Jericho. I don't know. Some city with a wall there. Now, let's go also to another kicker. Revelation. You guys are gonna be stunned by this. Unless you guys have read the Bible, then you're not stunned by this, but okay. Listen. Revelation 3:16. Okay. Revelation 3:16. He's talking about the churches here. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. Oh, guys, what is this? That was the craziest dream. Worst part, scripture is like supporting that dream, so I can't like tell you guys, oh, it was just a dream. It was just a bad dream. Like, Doesn't matter. Worst part, I had that dream twice. So I'm just like, okay, it got repeated. Oh, I want to tell you guys, it was just a bad dream. Totally bad dream. You can all forget about it. But then I went and picked up the Bible and I read through the Bible. I'm like, oh man, maybe there's some kind of support for this dream. And worst part, I found 3 verses that kind of supported it. So I'm just like, okay, maybe it was a prophetic dream of what might happen in the future. Oh my goodness. One thing though, I don't ever want to see Jesus crying, okay? I don't. In that bad dream is enough for me. I don't want to see him crying like face to face. When I want to see Jesus' face for the first time ever, I want to hope that he's happy. Okay, guys? Okay. That was my dream. Thank you for watching this 16-minute video. You are awesome. See you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.